Hello, everyone. My name is Asim Mohammed. I'm the Inside Sales Associate here at ThinkOn. Today, I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough and demo of ThinkOn's Data Protect 365 portal, which enables you to back up your M365, basically Microsoft 365 data, specifically pertaining to Exchange mailboxes, SharePoint sites, Teams, and OneDrive data. With this portal, you can basically organize and set up your backup jobs. So you can back up your M365 data and perform seamless restores by using a single pane of glass. With this portal, you also get reporting capabilities and the option to perform restores in various formats. You can access this Data Protect portal over the internet wherever you are, as long as your Azure tenant is synced with this Data Protect portal. Quick things I want to walk through before I dive right in is that you have the ability to utilize Azure credentials from your Azure admin portal account. In order to use your credentials, you need to click on the Azure login button here, and that is where you'll be utilizing your Azure login and password to log into this portal. You also have the flexibility to utilize this portal in either English or French language interface. So if you have any colleagues who are well versed in French and who would rather use that language, they have that flexibility to do so. Without any further ado, I'm going to click on login button and take you inside. Once I do that, you can see we are presented with organizational breakdown here, which basically shows us the reseller view. So here you have the option to pick and choose which customer tenant you would like to select and go underneath. I'm going to select the ThinkOn tenant that we have available in front of us. And once I do that, you can see we get a quick breakdown of key details pertaining to this account. You get to see how many backup jobs are currently set up and running in this portal, how many repositories are connected to all of these backup jobs, and how much data it's occupying on the disk in the backend on our side. You also get to see how many licenses are being consumed through this account, how many restore activities have been performed in the last 7 days to compared to last 30 days. This gray box gives you a nice rundown of how many mailboxes you're protecting in the cloud with us, how many user groups, SharePoint sites, and teams. As well as, last but not the least, you get to see breakdown of net new users that you have added in the last 7 days compared to last 30 days. If I scroll further down, you get to see new release that was performed by our team. Basically, this is the sprint release, wherein you get to see any new features that we added and improvements that we made to this portal to make your user experience smooth and make sure the functionality aligns with what is expected out of this portal. Now, after this, I just want to walk you through the Jobs tab to show you how to set up backup jobs and what each one of those backup jobs look like once you have set them up. In order to do that, you need to click on the Jobs tab on the left menu pane here. Once you do that, and once you click on the tenant, you get to see a breakdown of all the backup jobs that are currently being set up and running for this specific tenant account. Now, first of all, let me show you how to create a backup job in the first place. To do that, you need to click on the green Create button here. And once you do that, you can see we have this pop-up window where we have the option to specify a name for the backup job and give it a description. Here, I'm just going to say Exchange for 1. And here in the description, you can specify this is specifically for backing up Exchange. So that way it's straight to the point, and any of my colleagues who comes across this backup job in future, they will instantly know what this pertains to. I'm going to click on next here. We arrive at the next section where you have the option to either select the entire organization to be backed up, or to pick and choose which user accounts or objects you would like to back up and maybe exclude others. Now, with the first option, this is going to be our automated backup situation where any new users that you might have onboarded onto your Azure tenant will automatically get backed up through this portal into cloud with us. Whereas if you want control over how many licenses you're going to consume and which user accounts you would like to exclude from this backup job, you can select the second option, which is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to select on the plus icon. And from here, you can see we have a couple of options here to pick either the users, user groups, SharePoint sites, teams, and finally the entire organization itself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the organization, select our tenant account, click on add. Now, remember, I did specify in the beginning that I'm just going to back up Exchange mailboxes here. So in order to specify that on the tenant itself, I'm going to click on the pencil icon here. And you can now select which application's data you would like to get backed up using this backup job. So again, I'm going to exclude Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive, and just keep Exchange and Archive checked. And I'm going to click on Save, and then click on Next. Now we arrive at the section where you have the option to exclude any objects, in other words, user accounts that you do not want to get backed up using this backup job. Here, I'm not going to do anything and just click on Next. Now we have the option to specify what retention policy you would like to apply on this backup job. You have flexibility to go with either 1 year, 3 years. Again, it all depends on what your organization's compliance requirements are. If you have a requirement to keep the data for 1 year and then let it age out, in that case, the best option for you is to select 1 year. So here, I'm just going to select 1 year and then proceed forward. The final window we arrive at is the option to specify what time during the entire day you would like this backup job to run at. By default, it has selected 8 p.m. But if you do want to change this, you can click on the calendar icon and then change the time by either dragging the wheel or just clicking on the time you would like this job to run at. So I'm going to change this to 2 p.m. Click on OK. And now when you click on the Save button at the bottom right, this backup job will basically get set up and it will run at 2 p.m. local time, your time. Here, I'm just going to click on Cancel because we already have backup jobs running. And let me show you what each one of these backup jobs look like. When I click on the Exchange backup job, you can see that it gives us a quick rundown of key info, basically when it was last run as specified here, when it's supposed to run next, which is the next execution time. Also, you get to see the schedule policy, which is basically that it's supposed to run every day at 8 p.m. local time. Retries are enabled by default, and you can see there's 3 retries by default, and there's a 10-minute time interval between each retry. On the right side, you can see we have a session history here, which basically gives us a rundown of backup sessions that were performed over the last couple of days. This will also give you a status breakdown, so you can see if it has any warnings attached to it or if it was successfully completed. If you do want to get a granular level breakdown or maybe in-depth overview of what this backup session looked like, you can click on the eye icon here. And this will give you a step-by-step breakdown of everything that happened during this backup session. So you can see it found 48 objects. You get to see a breakdown of all these objects on an individual level. And when I scroll all the way up, you can see that this much of data was transferred to the cloud. And this is the time when the backup job was finally finished. If you do want to export this data out into a presentable Excel spreadsheet format, you can click on the Export All to Excel button at the top right and have that data on your site. I'm going to click on Close. Now let me show you how does a restore session looks like. In order to do that, we do have different applications here. As you can see, OneDrive, Exchange, SharePoint, and Teams. For this demo, I'm just going to focus on Exchange and show you what are the different options you can utilize when trying to restore either the mailbox or a particular email that you would like to open and see what the contents are. Now, once I click on Exchange, I'm going to click on the tenant itself. And then you have the option to specify what point in time you would like to go back and restore data from. So by clicking on this calendar icon, I'm going to circle back here and then go to a random date, let's say October 9th, click on OK, and then I'm going to click on Start Restore. And within a couple of seconds, it's going to present us all the mailboxes that is backed up to the cloud and where you have the option to either restore that mailbox or any files underneath it. So first of all, to show you what it looks like if you want to restore the entire mailbox, you need to click on these three dots here. And this will give you three options, which is basically restore to the original location where it was backed up from, restore to a different location, which basically asks you to specify a mailbox server where you would like this mailbox to be presented at. You also have the option to download this in PSD file format. Along with that, as you can see, this list is pretty comprehensive and long. So in order to not waste time here and get that mailbox that you're looking for, you can also index it out based on this search field. So maybe I'm just looking for my colleague Hassan's mailbox, so I can just type his name, and you can see that mailbox is presented to me from the list. Along with that, if you're looking for a specific file that is present in a mailbox, but you don't know where it is, but you know the file name, you can click on Search All Mailboxes tab here. And this presents the advanced indexing functionality to you, where you have the option to filter out and index files based on the body of the email, to and from fields, subject field, and so on. You can click on Start Search once you have specified the keyword, and then it will present the results to you underneath here. If there are lots of results and the list is pretty long, you can also filter out the item by entering your keyword here. So I'm going to go back here. And now let's say if you want to restore a specific file that you're looking to have on your end. In order to show you what those options look like, I'm going to click and I'm going to go to the inbox folder, give it a couple of seconds. And once that's loaded up, I'm going to scroll further down. And here we have a couple of emails. So maybe I just want to see what this email looks like. So in order to restore that, you can click on these three dots and you have the option to either restore it to the original location where it was backed up from, either to a different location, which basically is a different mailbox server, or download it in PSD file format or MSG file format, which is my personal favorite, which saves you a lot of time and effort, and you can immediately see what the contents of those emails are. I'm going to stop this session. Again, the process is pretty similar for OneDrive, SharePoint, and Teams when you're trying to perform a restore. The only different things that you would see is the format options, where you have the option to restore, let's say, a JPEG file in plain file format or in a zip file format. Besides that, you have the ability to click on event log and check the login and time breakdown of each user account that tried accessing this portal. As you can see, we have user accounts specified here, what time they tried logging in, what is the task they were trying to perform, and so on. Along with that, you can go to the reporting section where you have the ability to see the licenses that are currently being consumed under this tenant. That is the number that's associated with the tenant account. But what about if you want to see a user level breakdown? In order to do that, you can click on the eye icon, and then you're able to see individual user accounts that are actually consuming licenses through this portal. Along with that, you can also export out reports specifically based on user protection and mailbox protection basis. This way you can get granular level detail in terms of how many mailboxes are being protected in the cloud with ThinkOn and what specific user accounts are also being backed up using this portal to ThinkOn's cloud. You can export these reports in either PDF or CSV Excel spreadsheet formats. Also, you can actually see the monthly report within the portal itself, which gives you kind of a graphical breakdown of the backup jobs that happened over the last couple of days. You can see we have individual backup jobs listed on the left side, and then you have color format, which shows you if these backup jobs performed successfully or if there were any warnings whatsoever. So that gives you a good rundown of the data if in case you wanted to have a look of how many backup jobs were successful and how many had warnings. Along with that, finally, you have the ability to configure settings either on an organizational or your user account specific level. Organizational level, you can enable MFA feature, you can enable IP whitelist. You can also specify if you want to have a dashboard report subscription set up. So that can be configured either on weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or quarterly basis. And if in case you have that set up and you would actually want to unsubscribe from it, you can select the unsubscribe option. Going back to the user settings, again, you have the option to enable MFA features specifically for your user account. And you have the option to also change your own profile password, which is basically your local credentials. That is basically the Data Protect portal. Again, it's pretty seamless, intuitive to use. Even if you are not that tech savvy and you do not have technical overview of the service itself, you can still navigate around this portal seamlessly without having to have any kind of technical inputs on the service or the portal itself. Again, I'm happy to present this to you, but if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to us at sales@thinkon.com. Have a great day. Goodbye.